Hey everybody, I just wanted to do this video to show you guys the unvarnished results of the New York Metro Open that I recently completed 2 weeks ago. It was a good tournament series for me. If you haven't been to the New York Metro Open, by the way, I completely and 100% enthusiastically endorse it. You should really try it. First of all, it's a great way of stepping into tournament play, and if you do other tournaments, this one is bigger and better than any you'll ever get to. Although, if Bill Riles and Tara Mendocino are watching this, you guys put on a great tournament too. I'm sorry I haven't been to any of yours yet. The one in New Orleans and the one in Texas that's happening, I think, this week. The New York Metro Open, since it's local to me and I have kids and it's hard to get out of the house sometimes, is the one that's easiest to get to and happens to be the biggest one in the U.S. and one of the biggest in the world. It was a fantastic tournament, and I entered a bunch of events. One of the issues that I had with previous tournaments that I've been to is that there's a lot of time in between matches because the matches are done on a ladder system, and if you finish your match and you move on to the next bracket in the ladder, you have to wait for everyone underneath you to finish their matches so you have an opponent that you can match up with. And sometimes people are in multiple tournaments, and they're playing matches in different tournaments, not just your ladder. And sometimes it could take hours or even days to get matched up with somebody for the next round of your tournament that you're waiting for. So if you only enter one tournament, first of all, you're losing out on a lot of great play. And you could be waiting quite a while. So I decided to enter every tournament possible. Without further ado, here's the results of all the tournaments and all the matches that I did. I did 21 matches over the course of 4 days, which is a lot. The matches are generally 7 points, but in the intermediate, they were 9 points. I'll get to that in just a second. And then somewhere as low as 5 points. One of them was 5 points. The last chance intermediate match was 5 points. So mostly 7 points, a couple of 9-pointers, and one 5-pointer. I did fairly well, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Definitely improvement needs to be done, and that's part of why I'm doing this journey with all of you. So here's the results. As you can see, I entered into 5 different tournaments. And some of them I re-entered. So if you'll notice, for instance, in Cancel Gammon, you'll see round 1, and then you'll see round 1 again. This is where I did it in order of the matches that I did in that tournament. I lost in round 1, and then I re-entered into that tournament, and then I won round 1 and then lost round 2. So Cancel Gammon. Cancel Gammon is a variant, by the way, invented by Phil Simborg. So he says, but I believe him. And it's actually a great little variant, and you should try it at your clubs. What happens is you have a token. Let's call these 2 guitar picks your token. And each person has a token. Let's say it's on either end of the board. And at any time during the game, before your opponent rolls, before you roll, before you roll, you can decide to cancel your opponent's previous roll. So let's say your opponent rolls, he rolls a joker, he starts moving. You can simply pick this up and cancel before you roll, before you start your turn. Then your opponent has to re-roll, go back to the original position of the previous move, and re-roll and try again. So this is a great way of canceling out jokers. And if you're in a bear-off situation, your opponent rolls double sixes to bear-off, you can cancel it and have them roll a more appropriate 2-1 or something to that effect. However, you can only use this once per game. At the end of the game, whoever's won, not the match, at the end of the game, once you've reset your board, everyone gets their token back. So this is just simply to show you whether or not you've used your cancel option. And that's it. That's the whole game. However, whoever was sponsoring it, I'm not sure who it was, they did this last year too, they added $2,000 to the prize pool. So, and not too many people play Cancel Gammon. I don't know why, because $2,000 was added to the prize pool, so I decided to try my luck. I did better last year. I think I went into the 3rd or 4th round last year. I didn't win any money, but I went farther. And this year, I had been playing a bunch of other events, and in the very first match, I was playing someone from my club As a matter of fact, as it turned out, we got randomly selected, and I kept forgetting that I had the cancel token. So it's very important when you're playing in a tournament to remember your rules. I had forgotten that, so he rolled some jokers, and as you can see, his luck was 5.842. This is by XG, all this analysis. And I kept forgetting to cancel his luck. So that happened in 2 different games, and I think that was what eventually drove the loss. And then I tried to buckle down for the next one. I did forget one roll in the next one, round 1, but I won. And then in round 2, I just lost. It happens. So that's Cancel Gammon. And then I also did intermediate. This is not in the order of the tournaments. All the tournaments were happening at the same time. But the matches are in the order that I did them within that tournament. So I entered intermediate. I won my first match and then lost the next 3. Intermediate is a triple elimination tournament, which means that when you get knocked out of the main ladder, you get moved down to the consolation ladder. You get knocked out of that, you move down to the last chance ladder, which is only 5 points in intermediate. And then once you get knocked out of that, you get knocked out. So I won my first match in Maine, felt pretty good about myself, and then boom, 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 3 losses all in a row. In the doubles, I played with a partner from my club, and I can't tell you what the PR was for the first match, which we won, because I was not recording that. The person we were playing was recording it and had a very good setup. And then I asked him for the video, and I kept asking for the video. We just couldn't connect on getting the video. But he did send me the XG transcription, but it's wrong. The person we were playing uses kifu.me, Kifu.me, which is a new transcription system where you use their camera app, and it records for you, and it does the transcription for you and everything. But it's not perfect, and this XG file wasn't perfect. In fact, it was flawed. So it's really kind of garbage. I can't really use it. So I'm waiting for him to send me the proper XG transcription if he ever does. The second doubles match we played, we did lose. And two very fine players, but we played very well. Then I was in the P40, where I went first 2 wins and then I lost. And then the Young and Restless. Now the Young and Restless was my best event. I won the first 2. And then I lost in the third and got knocked out. That's a single elimination tournament. I re-entered, and then I made it all the way into the finals, where I lost in the finals, but me and the finalist made a deal before we played to chop up the money. So there was about a little over $2,000 total in the prize pool between the first and second place. And rather than play for the money and the trophy, we chopped the money in half. Each of us got half the money. So I made about $1,000, and we played for the trophy. He got the main trophy. He won. I got the finalist trophy. Yay! So I love coming back with hardware from a tournament. But let's go into the the PR for a minute, because this was why I transcribed all these matches. I spent hours transcribing each of these matches to go over what I did wrong, the blunders, etc. I haven't fully analyzed each game yet, but I have transcribed them properly, and I will be doing research over the next couple of weeks to go into, like, what did I do wrong. Some things I just completely barfed on. I don't know if you guys ever do transcribing, but anyone who does, as you're watching the video and you're doing the transcribing to XG, a roll will come up and you're seeing it from the overhead, and you say to yourself, oh, the move, obviously I must have done this move because that's the obvious move. And you instantly put it into XG, and then you watch the video and you find out you didn't do that move. And you say to yourself, really? There was one particular spot where I hit. I was supposed to hit off the bar. So I was on the bar, and he had a blot in the outfield, and I rolled the perfect 5-4 to hit him. And for some reason, I came off the bar and then moved another 4. And I even said on the video, I guess that's my only move. And here it was an obvious blot to hit, and it was the right play. And I made this huge blunder just by missing it. So the cacophony in the room, in the tournament room, is important to block out. It's important to concentrate. I also noticed that on video, a lot more often than I thought, I had friends and colleagues and people come over and say hello to me during a match, which is, I'm not going to blame anybody, but I should not have interacted with them at all. I lifted up my head, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And then they generally left me alone, but just that interaction takes me out of the flow of the game. So I lost my concentration a couple of times, and it shows in my PR. So let's go over the PR for just real quick. In Cancel Gammon, I did pretty well. I generally consider myself to be anywhere between a 9 and 11 player, generally. But, I spike, and then I have troughs where I do really well. But I'm trying to get an average of 8 or below on a consistent basis. And I'm just not there yet, as you'll be able to see in just a moment. So not bad in Cancel Gammon, 776, 912, and then 729. So these are good numbers. The first one, 776, this is the one where I kept forgetting I was playing Cancel Gammon. You can see my luck factor was really, really bad, and my opponent won with an 833. I'm not going to blame the luck factor. I'm going to blame the fact that I kept forgetting to cancel. I could have mitigated that luck with the cancel token. I kept forgetting to do it. In the intermediate, I did not play well. So I played a 10-2-5, which is reasonable. In the first match, which I won against my opponent's much better 6-2-7. I played the same opponent, by the way, later on in right over here. Where was it? Here. I played him in the P40 event. I think. No. Anyway, I played him in a different one. Oh, I think it was the Young and Restless. I think it was the first of the Young and Restless. Did I really play him first both times? No, here it is. Young and Restless first round in the rebuy. That was the one. So he played a 6-2-7 and a 6-9-7, and I won against him both times with much higher PRs. So I feel bad for him. If you're out there, you know who you are. But it started to go off the rails in the intermediate. I'm not 100% sure why. I have to really look at the games. I played a 10-2-5, not terrible, but then a 17-8 in my second match, which I lost, of course. And what a surprise. My opponent didn't do great either, 13-7-9, and luck had something to do with it. But really, I shouldn't be blaming luck if I'm playing a 17-8-2. Now, I have a feeling once I do the analysis of these matches, I have a feeling that the complicated positions are going to come into play. And a lot of it was cube play, by the way. I lost a lot of equity by not accepting bad cubes, but by not throwing the cube earlier. So that is a big leak in my game, not throwing the cube as early as I should be, and holding on to the cube too long. So that's something I'm definitely going to have to work on. And then I had, of course, my 12-17, which is at the top end of reasonable. I really need to get that down. And then I lost with an 8-15 against my opponent's 15-03, and that was just simply a great dice in a 5-point match. Can't do much about that. What are you going to do? In the doubles, now when you're playing doubles, your PR naturally is going to be lower because you're bouncing ideas off of your opponent, off of your partner, and your partner is going to be correcting some of your misgivings. Of course, you're going to also be correcting some of their misgivings. And I found in a few places where my partner had suggested move A, and I thought move B was better, and we agreed on move B, that actually move A was better. But still, 5-5-8, we acquitted ourselves fairly well in this match. Our opponents played a 4-3-9. I can't really argue too much about this. Now, the P40 event was just awful. I mean, my opponents played pretty badly. I played terribly. 13-6-5 for a win against a 15-16, thankfully. 12-4-9 for a win against a 17. But this one, 17-19 against a 10-5-5 for a loss. It was going to catch up to me. If I play above 12 on a consistent basis, I am going to lose. And that's what happened here. Young and Restless, for some reason, I kind of buttoned down. I only had a few blow-ups in terms of PR, but 8-1-1 for the win, 10-18 for the win, and then this one is a tough one. 5.1. This was my best played game of the entire series. This is a solo game, playing 7 points. I'm not bouncing anything off of anyone. 5.1, and I lose to a 7.56 with a luck factor of almost 6. So that was a tough loss, and that's what made me rebuy, and I buttoned down However, 12-9-6 against my opponent 6-9-7. I got lucky this time with a +5. And then a 6-8-1 and a 5-3-8. Boom, boom. I mean, I really can't argue with these are great results for me. But look at this, 4, 5, and 6. I don't know how I won 4 and 5 with these results. 15-6 against a 9-7-3 and a 16-2-3 against a 13-14. Terrible games. I really need to button down. I'm not proud of those games. And then once the money was off the table, and it was late into Sunday, it was almost 8 o'clock when we played this game, and I really needed to get home. And my opponent really needed to get on a flight back to Turkey. We played, and he just plain old beat me 7-3. Can't argue with that. So anyway, it was a great tournament. I really enjoyed it. These are the results. I'm publishing these because this is the baseline of where I am now. At the next New York Open next year when I publish, I expect those numbers to be down quite a bit and much more smooth rather than jumping up and down in PR. I hope you're enjoying this journey, and your own journey should be free of blunders. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.